Hey guys, what is up? CGDannyB back again with another episode of Pokemon. Gotta watch them all. After a month break, I think.
Month and a half-ish.
We had a good bit. We hit just a strut of we couldn't get in the building. Vacations came into place. Scheduling conflicts, etc. But we're back. And actually, when we record this, it'll probably still be 2 weeks before you get it based on what else is coming out. But that's okay, because we are back with Kyurem versus the Swords of Justice. First off, let's introduce people on the couch. I've got Kanai. Perfect. I got Chris. And I got John.
Hey.
John, you're supposed to say anything.
No, I'm very excited for this one.
Yes.
Very excited for this one. I won't say why.
So yeah, we watched, this week we watched Kyurem versus the Sword of Justice, which I've been saying the Swords of Justice.
Nope, the Sword.
Realizing these movies slowly to be like Kyurem versus Keldeo. Other thing, we're going to try and change the format a little bit. We still want to go through the plot of the movie, but we're going to try and change it from Danny reads for an hour and then we interject when we can and kind of just talk. And we're going to see how this goes. So the formula, it's a work in progress yet again. Anyway, so yeah, Chris had a couple ideas as far as like introducing the movie and how best to discuss it. So I guess first I'll read the synopsis from the movie. I grabbed this from the Pokemon website, which I'm going to continue to do. Pokemon Kyurem versus the Sword of Justice. Ash and Pikachu, along with their friends Iris and Silent, are on a train headed to the next stop on their journey. From the train, Ash spots an injured Pokemon, one he's never seen before. He's trying to figure out how he can help when the train is attacked by legendary Kyurem. Fuck this dragon. It's the strongest dragon in the world. A dragon-type Pokemon with immense power. Ash and the others barely manage to escape the rampaging Kyurem attack. As the dust settles, they turn their attention to the injured Pokemon. Their new acquaintance turns out to be the mythical Pokemon Keldeo, and it's on a mission to rescue its friends Cobalion, Terakion, and Virizon, the legendary Pokemon known as the Swords of Justice, from Kyurem's ice clutches.
I always said Virizon.
Virizon. So that's what I've been saying, but the movie says Virizon.
It's Verizon.
Yeah, I kept hearing Verizon, and I was like, when is someone going to ask me about my data management? I'm waiting.
Can you hear me now?
His Pokedex enters the data management Pokemon.
There's just a Verizon red shirt. So, can I ask you about your monthly bill payment?
Red shirts.
But Kyurem's rampage isn't over. It's drawing power from Reshiram and Zekrom, changing into Black Kyurem and White Kyurem to make its attacks even stronger. Why is Kyurem attacking Ash and his friends with such unrelenting fury? How will they be able to overcome this danger? To protect its friends, to discover true power and genuine courage, and to persevere its bond with Ash and its companions, a hidden strength hidden within Keldeo. Yeah, what'd you guys think of the movie?
So I think
it's nice. Keldeo's voice by
Vic Mignogna.
Yeah, that's nice.
Good man.
That's it.
That's a good boy thing.
I love him.
I think this movie does a fantastic job of not being bad, but does a really bad job of being great.
Absolutely. So
it's like for me, it's not it doesn't do bad enough where it's the worst. It's not good enough where it's the best. Can I said, it's like perfectly right in the middle.
This should have been a special.
That's what I said.
I don't think this should have been a movie at all.
I think this could have been an easy 3-part special in the anime, and I think it would have succeeded better at what it did as a movie.
So I wrote 3 things that I liked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Vic being one of them. I actually thought that was a good choice.
Absolutely.
For Keldeo's voice. It fit.
Yeah,
This is the first time I watched the movie in English.
Okay.
It was because he was the voice actor. So, I gotta watch that. I don't know who the fuck the Japanese one is. So
you're saying the first time you watched Keldeo in English, or any of these movies?
Any of these movies.
Okay.
Ash not having the mandatory tournament win or prophecy.
Okay.
That was nice.
Sure.
He didn't have that. It's short and flimsy, and by that I mean, I think the movie was really bad, and the fact that it was as short as it did doesn't make it as bad as like Manaphy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sure.
Because Manaphy was unnecessarily long, and I thought that movie was bad. This one was short, so you can watch. I mean, I did watch this movie twice.
Okay.
So because how short it is, I was like, well, let me watch it again and see if
I think it's like hour 11, both this and Genesect, but that's next
really
week.
surprising.
And it has a nice message behind it. Size matters. So that's the message of the movie.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of negative things to say about the movie, but I also don't have a lot of positive.
Right.
Yeah.
In watching these movies, when I have to sit and take the notes to make sure I have like, hey, mention the things that you thought about during the movie and don't forget, like, that's gonna be good for content, remember it. It just felt kind of like a chore to have to focus on this movie when I feel like it could have been a very easy, like, turn it on, and I know people use like background noise to be like, I need something in the background to play.
That's
like
what this is.
literal background noise. Like you don't have to pay attention to the movie, and you could probably watch the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes and understood what happened.
Yeah.
Like it very much just background noise, and I think that's what kept knocking it down for me when I was like, I have to focus on this. I think the animation was great. I think there was a lot of cool things.
There's a lot of good fights.
The cast of Pokemon.
I feel bad.
Very minuscule, which go figure I have to pick for the poll this week first, so I have a great selection.
That opening segment gave you
Yeah,
all
there's-
you
there's
need.
Yeah,
Like every Pokemon, almost not
yeah.
organized.
I was like,
Arcanine.
do I opt out and just use that?
I was because after I finished, I was like, all right, let me go back to see what I can pull from because I saw one person in particular. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's all I need.
I think this is one of the movies that would have shown so much better without Ash.
I was about to bring that up.
I have, like, I hate it because you guys are saying a lot of positives, and now I'm going to sound like an asshole because I wrote all the negatives for me. But one of those was that I don't think Ash was needed for this movie at all. I actually think Ash devalues the story of Keldeo because...
The only reason Ash exists is for Keldeo to have somebody to defend. That's the only reason.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that the whole point was that Keldeo was supposed to prove that he was worthy, even though he was told that he wasn't worthy, and they were right, by the way.
Yeah, they're absolutely right.
This is the same trope that you see where it's like the rebellious teenager, and everybody's like, you're not ready. So essentially Finding Nemo, Spider-Man Homecoming, the X-Men trilogy, Empire Strikes Back, where you have that one character's like, I'm ready, and everybody's like, no, you're not, and then
Yeah,
they're not
tragedy
ready.
happens, yeah.
And then
They have to redeem themselves.
So, this movie didn't have to happen if Keldeo wasn't a piece of shit and just listened and said, oh yeah, let me keep training, you know. I think that's the problem for me, and that's why I don't think Ash was needed.
Because, I mean, Ash's sole purpose was to just go, hey, Keldeo, you got this. You're not afraid anymore.
Yeah.
And
But
then
the thing
he
is,
just-
Then get shot at.
but the thing is technically he failed the trial because Ash had to intervene and help. Now, they never said you can't have help, it's just kind of fucking implied, right? So, like, technically Keldeo at the train scene, that would have been the end of the trial because Kyurem would have gotten to him. So it's one of those things where I'm like, he didn't earn it. He had help outside interference. So, like, in theory, when this happens again in the future, what's going to happen when Ash is not around? And
So I don't think the point of the trial is to win the fight. I think the point of the trial is to learn the responsibility of being a sword of
but they,
justice.
so I wrote that down. They never say that. They never say that though. I wrote that down as a
So
possible.
they do not say it directly, but I know like the movie starts early with cobalion. The phrasing I think is like
You have to
earn
learn
the
you have
weight
to,
of the sword.
You have to
Learn the
learn the
weight.
weight of the sword.
Yeah, learn
which,
the weight of the sword.
Which
Because-
I know.
So what is that though?
So
Like when did Keldeo learn the weight of the sword?
I think
I think it
Go
was
ahead, yeah.
Defends that.
when it was during the fighting sequence when he remembered what all the three individual swords were saying as he was running, like going through, and when you hear terakion, cobalion, and virizon. When you heard that, and then like it looked like he was like actually like implementing and taking part what they were saying. Even fighting Kyurem when he was really didn't even have the sword yet when he started to adapting to it, and then like it all kind of came to a climax when he was able to form the sword, and because even Kyurem was like, that's it.
yeah.
Now this is a real fight because now your true power is coming out, and even though like Kyurem ends up like putting his foot on the horn as dominance, it's still. It was more, Kyurem is used more as a measuring stick
No, I get that.
than it is than he is anything else, which I think it was like a nice touch because
A measuring
he
stick
wrote
that couldn't calm the fuck down how to chase a horse across the planet.
Dude,
And to teach him a lesson.
Yeah, you know, just like
extra.
freezing everything.
There's
It's
also
like
no
all the people on the
story.
train dead.
You're absolutely correct.
So
There's like no story.
There's no story. There's no backstory to Kyurem, why he does this.
Just a dragon husk and an ice castle.
It's just a dragon that just decided to be a dick. From if you're looking at it from it's just a dragon that's like, oh yeah, this just
face
happens.
value.
And see, I see what you guys are saying with those things. I still didn't get that from watching that. to me, it just felt that it was very like convenient. Like
Sure.
you said, Ash was only there so that Keldeo.
Yeah, he was absolutely
That's
just
only-
there to be protected.
That didn't have to be Ash though. That could have been a friend.
Yeah.
That could have been.
It could
I
have
don't
been the
think it
Swords
had
of
to be
Justice
it.
breaking out, getting shot at, and him defending. It could have absolutely not been that.
Because like
I
I
think it would have
would,
been a better movie without it.
I think it would have been awesome instead of having the train sequence with the involving Ash. Like instead, like they just did a whole bit where it was like Keldeo, like having to fend for himself and through. Just living on his own without his mentors, like having to practice what they did. I think that could have been a lot better. But there's like 10,000 different ways you could do this without Ash. I just don't know why.
I think they could have nailed it if this was Meloetta was Gen 5 or Gen 6.
It was Gen 5.
Gen 5.
five,
I think
yeah.
they
She
could have
starts
nailed
following
this
them.
because she
Yeah.
gets a short after this.
Yeah,
That's not a full movie.
and she also
I
was
think they
part
could
of
have
the
nailed
anime.
it. Yeah,
too.
of being like, we don't need Ash. Keldeo's trying to fight, can't win, meets Meloetta, and then Meloetta takes the place of Ash as
Yep,
the
100%.
the thing to save.
Right.
Go back to Kyurem. Oh no, Meloetta's in danger. Keldeo helps. It could have been like a mystery dungeon style.
Could have been. It would have been cool for like Meloetta to find him and befriend him, and then him be like, "I have a new friend who's going to help me fight Kyurem," and then she gets in danger. Weight of the sword
Well,
takes place.
Meloetta
Saves
is following
Meloetta.
Ash at this point, but
Yeah.
Oh, is she?
yeah. Also,
I know nothing about Meloetta.
I watched this with with one of my friends, and she brought up that this movie could have been instead of Ash, they could have used Team Rocket, and wouldn't have hurt the movie because you could have had the subplot Team Rocket.
But
trying to
they're not
capture
in this
Keldeo.
one.
They
I know, I'm
are,
saying they
just-
could have used the
I don't even wanna
subplot
count
of
it.
using
Count
Team
it.
Rocket to catch Keldeo, but through the whole thing, Keldeo thinks they're friends, so he protects them, and then they're like, "All right, we're not going to capture you," kind of thing.
That would've
I
been
thi-
unique.
I think that, like I said, I think Ash is the problem for me because like it feels like Keldeo didn't earn it. And the other thing I wrote was 5 talking Pokemon. 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
the
wasn't
next
a fan
movie,
of that.
the next movie has 6.
Yeah.
It felt like
Yes. Yeah, okay.
It does.
And it
Yeah,
fe-
okay,
it
it was
felt-
like the 5 Genesis. Okay.
But the next one has Russian Bug.
so it felt like I was watching.
Destroy them.
It felt like I was watching Digimon with so many talking Pokemon.
Damn, that's a good point.
Genesect
You know what?
is
While we're
garbage.
on it, because that kind of it didn't piss me off, but it was something that bugged the hell out of me the entire movie because I feel like telepathy now is just a staple.
It is.
In every movie, someone talks.
So it
mouth
makes
to
sense
mouth,
when it's a
whatever.
psychic type. 100%. You want to do a psychic type? 100%. Even a basic Abra doing it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm okay. with that.
I'll even give just a box art legendary. Like if Kyogre and Groudon did it, I think now because we're so far out.
And you know what's funny?
If we went back and saw them do
Neither
it,
of them
right?
did it.
Exactly.
They just.
But if they had, we probably would have accepted it fine.
Yeah, I agree.
But something about Keldeo, the 3 swords, I would have given it to Kyurem and Keldeo because art.
Yeah.
But like, there's a moment where Cobalion's like, hey, he's not ready. But not moving his mouth.
Yep.
He's talking mentally to Terakion and Virizon. And Keldeo's like, I'm not ready for what? And I'm like, why did he telepathically say that to Keldeo
Yeah.
if you weren't talking to Keldeo?
And he was whispering it when he said, yeah.
And I'm like, how do, like, because telepathy, you're not like, if I'm over here, like, hey, can I know what's going on? Like, I'm hiding
Yeah.
what I'm saying to you two.
Yeah.
If I'm doing telepathy, I'm not whispering what I have to say.
I wrote that
like,
down.
so you guys don't have to hear it. Like, and like, it was such a minuscule thing that I feel like was probably just overlooked. But I just bugged the fuck out
There's
of me the
also
entire
so
movie.
many parts where like Keldeo is saying something telepathically and it seems like Ash doesn't hear it.
Yeah.
Or like he like has to re-ask something about it and I'm like, okay.
Also takes 20 minutes to get to Ash. Oh, it takes 17 minutes to get to Ash.
No, round up.
I'm
yeah.
fine with
I
that.
just said 20. So
I
the
was
whole time.
fine with the whole intro.
Well, that was going to say, the whole beginning was nice, and then they got to the
It's good
Ash
at
part,
you.
and I was like, okay.
Ash is. They always have to have one scene where they make Ash dumb. By the way.
Yeah.
Because there's the scene where like they're getting the box lunches and they're just
15
like
of them.
15 box lunches, which I was like, that's for the Pokemon they have. I get it, whatever. And then they're just like, wait a minute, and you hear like. And he's like, oh my god, I left Scrafty. And I'm like, recall him. Use your Pokeball. Bring him back. And he's just like, he's like, come on, Scrafty. Jump. Threaten your own life. Get on the train. And then he
Jump
runs.
at the train.
And then he runs to the junction of the train cars and he's like, Snivy, go get him. And I'm like, why couldn't you do that from the window? If you're going to use Snivy anyway, just do it from the fucking
There were
window.
4 steps Ash could have taken before he
multiple,
finally
yeah.
did it.
Yeah. And I was like, God, you're so dumb.
One other thing that bothers me is that
He didn't even do like a head count, like, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't do
Come
the
on,
key-
bud.
He didn't do the keys wallet.
Yeah.
at this point you would
All
think
right,
Pikachu would be
Snivy,
more
Pig
aware.
Knight.
Right.
Yep, they're all here.
Which is funny
Like
because
how Pikachu was able to tell where that
Yeah.
fucking Keldeo was, and like everyone just doing shit. Pikachu's like,
Pikachu
Huh?
smelled an injured telepathic Pokemon. He was
There's
like,
a fucking horse on the tree.
So I wrote this as no plot, and I wrote it wrong because I mixed it up. But I put there's no reason for Keldeo to want. We never know what the reason for Keldeo wanting to be a sword of justice, other than he wants it.
Then it's cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like that's not. So there's like because of that, there's no tension. There's no hurdle to get to
Sure.
other than Kyurem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the same thing. Like we don't know why Kyurem is there. We don't know why. I mean, not why he's there, but why does he do this? Does
Yeah.
it imply that the other three fucked him up?
I think he's. I don't think it's. I think it's less of a like Kyurem is a bad guy. They're the good guys. I think it's more of like to be a sword of justice, you have to go through a
Here's
trial
your
with
task.
Kyurem.
Yeah. One says that they never explain what any of that is, so it's kind of shitty that like I think that what would have helped Keldeo's story is for generations like our people have been, here's a test of might, and then they could explain what a sword is. But in here it's like he never says why he wants it. He just kind of wants it.
right.
And I think that it would have helped.
Because
tell
the thing I
story.
learned about this movie is it has a lot of implications.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like implied because like Kyurem has to make like the ice arena, and he's like walk through the pillars.
I thought that was cool.
So-
Because that's where it
I
feels
like
like that's the
part.
start of
Yeah.
that trial. Like it's like this is your final test. If you can conquer this, and you can have Kyurem like help draw out that hidden power, then you're a sword of justice.
So I like the moment of the cage coming
That
out. And
was
then the second time it's
beautiful.
even more.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
that's really intense. I had this like feeling of hollowness when Keldeo passed through it. I expected like a psychic energy shield to be like, all right, cool, you're in this. One of us leaves
Right.
moment. And I guess you can't do that, otherwise the plot to press forward can't exist because basically Kyurem would be like, you can't get out until I kill you. And Keldeo's got it, but
I think it's like one of those unspoken things where it's like if it's like the fight, anything that takes place happens within the area, it's not going to exceed that because then that could cause more harm and cause like a structural
yeah.
like implosion.
I think it was just this is to make sure you're ready, like a final intimidation. Like if you think you're ready to fight me,
This is where the game would freeze.
Yeah,
and be
this is
like,
where it starts.
Make sure you get your medicine
Yeah.
before you go in. Yeah.
It's like, are you sure you want to do this? And there's
Right.
a save point right before the game.
yeah.
There also the three swords don't have any character at all. They're
Yeah.
bland, boring. I think that they could have. I don't know. I think the problem with this movie is I think they were given a time limit because there's no
Yeah.
way they chose the time that was given with how many characters are involved and like the plot and whatever.
what was the movie before this one?
The last one we watched is black and white. Black and white.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
They
think
were
that
probably
Black and
like,
White
we need
probably
to
did so
lower the
bad.
time.
Yeah, it probably did so bad that they were working on a tight budget. I like one of the redeeming things of Gen 5 is actually the three. What are they called? The three musketeers, three
The
dogs.
three swords.
The three swords of justice.
I
It's
think
like Entei, Reiko, Sweet.
No,
It's like, oh, these guys. Yeah,
These guys.
The three swords. I was calling something else. I can't remember. But
I think
used
Three
to call
Musketeers
them-
fits.
Yeah,
It's a-
Musketeers.
yeah,
always call
I think they're one of the coolest things of Gen 5.
Oh, yeah, they're, like,
I
my
love
favorite
them.
part.
I use Cobalion in the story because like he's fucking badass. I wish they would have dwelled more. And I think again, like all my notes are based on the movie's too short, and I think they didn't have time to flesh these things
Yeah.
out. But a backstory and even showing each one of them doing the tasks
That
would
would
have
be
been
cool.
neat. Like
I think I would have really helped seeing them
Yeah.
do the.
because like my
Kyurem
friend
fight.
brought up the idea that if they would have shown like a flashback of each of the swords doing like a unique, whether it's dodging a move and then having Keldeo doing that without knowing that they did it that way, kind of like the whole father and son doing the same moves, whatever.
I did that when I was a
Can we
kid.
talk about some of the dynamic ass movement in that final fight though? That shit's
Yeah.
fucking crazy. When he's like jetting off the walls and then the final like,
Deku!
you got this, Kellyanne! The fucking blast goes up to Ash and he just jumps up and he does the fucking like, and the ball just fucking. I was like, God damn!
So I put
There
this,
goes the budget.
I noticed this in the second, and because you brought up the budget, I put this because I watched it the second time. The town, the little ice town, no humans whatsoever. You notice that? There's no. They're going to this town that's supposed to be fucking flushing with people. Everything they talked about it, and then like you get there, no, there's one guy in the background.
I think literally all they did was they were like, okay, black and white, bad idea. This is the mythical event that we're doing. Make Keldeo look cool. Yeah. And they were like, cool fight scenes.
This is also the only movie that doesn't introduce a character.
No side character.
Yeah, because the next movie is technically considered a Gen 6 movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the next movie is a Gen 6 movie.
Megas, yeah.
So like this is the
transition one.
So this is the first movie where we transition to a new gen.
What's up, Chris? What?
Gen 6 is just my favorite gen, and the fact that that's the start, oh boy.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to talk about Genesect, but we're on Keldeo.
That's like
It's okay. There's two movies that kind of redeem Gen 6.
I'm looking forward to it.
Genesect movie. So
we just found out that Hoopa's in the next pairing, and
but like I said, this is the first movie that doesn't introduce the new Pokemon, because we had like Donphan in the first movie, and then we had like each movie introduced. So this is the first one. I didn't notice that during the second play second watch, and I was thinking to myself like,
John's playing the movies.
I was like, they could have used like the Meloetta thing that you're bringing up, or that you brought up. They could have used a new Pokemon.
Bitch took my credit.
Yeah, I did that. This is my podcast. Give me that line.
Instead of Ash, they could have easily used. I mean, they already have talking Pokemon. They could add. The next movie has 6, so they could add an extra one here.
Yeah.
And they could have added whatever. What's a Pokemon from Gen 6 that can fit like the Wise, like even something like an Oranguru, honestly, because the Wise.
Well,
but
that's 7.
That's 7. Yeah.
With Sun and Moon.
6.
A wise Pokemon. Like an innocent Pokemon that might get hurt, you could do Flabebe, but
I don't think we have a Zoroark in Gen 6, do we?
We don't have like a really wise like
Zeraora's not Gen 6? Is that Gen 7?
That's 5.
Which one?
Zeraora's 5. That's ends.
Or Zeraora is Gen 7.
7?
Yeah.
Sorry, not Zeraora. I'm thinking Zoroark.
Zoroark is Gen 5.
Is 5, yeah.
And Zeraora's Gen
7.
7?
Yeah. He was like
Gen 6 might not have that.
Yeah.
Gen 6
you know what? Mega Lucario. Yeah. Because that's what Karina had.
Yeah.
And that was
I don't even remember what their myth. I guess Diancie or Magearna.
Yeah, because it's funny because when Dave brought up like I was like I fucking hate it, but there's a movie that's in the future that uses Greninja a lot better than I think any other movie that Gen 6 could have used them.
Pokemon Evolution, yeah.
100%.
Are you looking at the decks?
Yeah, and this is the first one we got like a super small dex.
6? Yeah, 6 is
as
not
I look
very
towards
big
the end, like the end cast like pseudo area is like Gumi to Gudra,
I love Goomy.
Klefki, Phantom Trevenant, Pumpkaboo, Orgeist, Noivern.
They could use a Honedge with the whole sword.
Honedge, cool. That's pretty much.
Yeah, and he does learn Sacred Sword, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Unless you do something with Meowstick or something.
They could. I think Honedge could have worked very well.
Yeah.
It's not the same level. I feel like Heliolisk or whatever would have been a goofy one to have. I think it would have been a goofy Pokemon to use.
Yeah, I think with that many talking Pokemon and how little the humans are actually in the movie, it would have just been better to make it a Pokemon-based movie. Yeah. Like, there are definitely things that could have made it better.
Yeah.
Backstories, more from the swords, less human.
Was it? I think it was
Stunfish fucking shines though.
Yeah, I forgot about that one because he was just like, "Oh, the train needs electricity around." I'm like, "Oh, Ashlock Pikachu was silent." He's like, "Stunfisk." I'm like, "Oh."
And then he's like, "Stunfisk," and he just fucking jiggles on the electric. And I was like, "I love him."
Because I know you love the movie. Was it Pokemon 2000 the one that had like the special before where there was like the giant tree and then it had like all like Pikachu and Squirtle and Bulbasaur?
So every movie from the first one all the way to Gen.
The one with the Elekid when they're trying to save Togepi?
I think that's it. Yeah, because like, I vividly remember that. I'm like, if they just did something like that, but with this, would have been so much better.
So I actually like those shorts, and they did them from Gen 1 to Gen 3, and then they stopped halfway through 3, and then they did it again for one of the Gen 5 later ones. Yeah, and then they did it again in Gen 7, I think. Or not Gen 7, Gen 8.
Stunfisk is permanently in my brain.
Yeah, overall, like I said, for me, it's just, I think the time crunch is what ruins the movie. And I think because of that, they have to skip, I think you said the whole, a lot of things here are implied.
Yeah.
But like when you're a kid, you're not implying these things.
Yeah.
You're
I
not
think-
looking for that because like if you look at like how all of them are interacting, the swords are talking about what Keldeo's going through in their past tense.
Yeah.
So it's like it's implied that they're doing the same thing, but as a kid, you're not
Yeah.
putting two and two together. As an adult, you're like, okay, the phrasing is different. But as a kid, you're just like, why aren't they fighting yet? Big scary dragon, go
Yeah.
brr.
I do like a lot of people hate Keldeo.
Transformations, though.
A lot of people hate Keldeo. I actually like Keldeo.
I like Resolute form.
Yeah.
I hate normal form. Normal form looks like they just took a My Little Pony. and just-
Yeah.
But
I actually like all the
Pinky
Pokemon, like the main, like the spotlight.
concerned
Yeah.
with-
I like
It's
the
a perfect
Musketeers. I like Keldeo, and I like Kyurem.
Yeah.
I think this is the first movie where I do like all the legendaries that are involved. So visually it looks good, and I think that I just, like I said, the time crunch is.
I mentioned this last time with the Victini. I think Keldeo's on the same level for me. Where like I forget it's a mythical.
Yeah.
Like I forget it exists.
Yeah.
And then when it shows up, I'm like,
I feel like they
You
also
are
didn't
here,
show
huh?
up the water aspect of Keldeo.
They do that a lot.
like the
With
whole,
the, like,
Water
the wind
jets.
kicks.
Yes.
Yeah. They do the
I feel like
water
they've
jets a
done
lot.
more.
Because when he
That's
did,
fair,
because
yeah.
when they had that bit where like he had like his one of his hind legs, or it was probably both of them, where it was like encased in ice, and he's like, this fight isn't over yet, and then he uses the water to get and break himself out. I thought that was so cool. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a nice.
The whole ending fight is fantastic.
Yeah, that part's good.
I think the conclusion of this movie is probably its most redeemable.
I think it's the start of the
Yeah.
movie. That's a lot of the things that I write about are it's literally the start of the movie, which is like he just wants to be a sword, humans interaction, no reason for why like the plot moves, and it's kind of odd the way that it does. So all of the stuff that I wrote down essentially, it is about the beginning of the movie, but I
Yeah.
actually don't have complaints about the ending of the movie.
I think this could have killed as like a. I think Pokemon Generations was the first YouTube series they did, where they're like, here's a small snippet from
Yep.
the world of Pokemon. First 5 minutes, last 5 minutes, Keldeo goes in, loses, trains, comes back, wins.
Yeah.
Obviously, then you have to kind of write off Ash and figure out another way to do that. But I think it would have succeeded a lot more as a short 10-minute thing than
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
hour.
'cause the first 20 minutes and the last the first and last 20 minutes of the movie are where it shines.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal, and you lose a lot of the cool things from both those sections when you introduce Ash and have the like, well, we're friends now, Keldeo. It's
Yeah.
like, and even Keldeo's like, you just met me. He's like,
This
doesn't matter.
soft shell taco.
Yeah.
Okay.
This little pita sandwich, eat it. He's like, he fucks that box lunch up, dog. He's like, yo, you got more box lunches? But yeah, no, the middle part of this movie is where it loses a lot of its
I agree.
momentum. But I don't think that makes it a bad movie. Like I said, I think the excellent parts, in my opinion, outweigh the middle bad part, and it makes it a better movie than it is a bad movie. But it does not do a good job of being outstanding. Like it does a really good job of being a average, good Pokemon movie.
This could have easily been either a special or a 2-episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which they do 2-episode arcs all the time. Like
Yeah.
usually when a legendary gets introduced, they'll do like Kyurem part 1, Kyurem part 2. So they do this all the time. I don't know why they didn't do it for this one.
I mean, it's like when Kanai and I were talking in Discord. I was like, this felt like a good modern day shonen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's just like what it felt like, visuals and just like the pacing of it. I'm like, it just felt like an hour-long special.
I should have had 3 like credit rolls come up and been like, "Oh, we'll be right back after this message."
And then this happened.
Stop it.
It was nice that the
No, I've got a fire in my belly.
there's no enemy team. Like there's
Yeah.
no like
The
Team Rocket or anything.
Antagonist was pretty much just Kyurem.
Yeah.
And
And it wasn't.
And that one's like
Yeah.
very loosely Kyurem.
I've said it before. I like when there's not just a like hardcore, pure cut
Right.
bad guy that they need to be the bad guy. I do like when there's that gray area. It wasn't my favorite part of Black and White because Black and White was a shit show. But I liked that it was like a moral gray area. Oh, I fucked up. Like it was more interesting just being like, here's this rich guy with a bunch of money who wants this Pokemon really, really, really bad.
instead of slapping another dude in jail
Yeah.
and be like, "All right, cool, our villain team, that's never gonna happen."
That's something I
Scroll
talked about
strong.
with Chris earlier, is that I like that this guy showed up and was like, I'm here to test you. Again, he doesn't necessarily say that, but from implications of later scenes, it's like, go ahead, walk through the gate if you think you're ready. and then it's like I'm lied to you and I was not ready. I put all the other swords at risk. So Kyurem's like, fuck you, learn a lesson. And then he chases him down. He's like, learn the way, like he doesn't say that, like I said, he doesn't say it, it's all implied. But he's like, learn the way to your sword, and then come back, and then he comes back, and he's like, go ahead, walk through the gate if you think you're ready. And then it's like, good, you learned your lesson.
Yeah.
You're a sword of justice now.
I still kicked your ass, but you forfeited victory to save a friend.
Right.
Therefore, you are the best.
Yeah.
Here's your participation trophy. You're a sword of justice.
I like the different than just like bad guy show up, bad guy lose, bad guy arrested by Officer Jenny. Because that's
so I'm
like
okay.
10
I'm
of the
okay
movies.
with.
I
I do like when there is a villain. I just don't like when the villains repeat themselves. Like a lot of these movies, the villain's motive is power, right?
Imagine if every movie had Lawrence the Third.
That's how
I
was gonna bring that up. Like a lot of the movies did feel like Lawrence was the villain. I think it was like 2 movies after that.
Zero is basically Lawrence, but like with a more, I don't want to say more clear cut, but a more defined goal. Lawrence is like, I want birds because I want birds.
That I don't like, but I do like whenever you have the villains. Like Giovanni as a villain, I like because he's like this minute. Like when you look at him, he looks like the final boss on the level.
He's also a pre-established bad guy. You don't have to introduce a whole new bad guy.
He had a lot more growth than anyone
So
else
I think
has.
that taking a break from having your generic villain helps a lot. And I do like the movies where, like, I mean, Pokemon the first movie, having Mewtwo as kind of your villain for half the movie felt really nice because it's like a human, like, you fucking shoot him with a gun.
Which is another good bad guy because he learns his lesson and is like, fuck, maybe I need to reevaluate, and he leaves. And I like that.
I think that having a villain that you can't just, I always call it the gun conundrum, which is having a villain that I can just point a gun and kill him, and that's the solution. It's a bad villain. So, for example, Lawrence, you can just Mewtwo, Kyurem, and that. It's always nice when you have something like this where there's a lot more execution going on to doing it.
I want to step back to the almost irrelevant humans of the movie, because basically Iris and Silent show up to. We got to get Keldeo to Kyurem's palace,
And then they fuck off.
and let me sacrifice by distracting them with me.
Yeah.
And then the Krygonal, which are Kyurem's like slacky sidekick grunts.
Which I did like that.
I like that they used
badass.
I like
Yeah,
Cryogonal's
dope.
use.
Which
in
follows
this
the
film.
Pokedex entry, so
Yeah.
because they do go to the coldest area.
But it's just kind of like, she runs off. You're not Keldeo. Fuck your blimp. And then, you're not Keldeo. Fuck your train. Where is he at?
Silent gets like the short end of the stick because he's like, oh, the Cryogonal, no problem, wreck the train tunnel. And then Kyurem's just like, where the fuck's the horse? And then,
But there's one moment where like they flash. It was almost like when Brock just always knows about the legendary in the movie, like, oh, the legendary insert name here of the box art.
I hated that. I hated that so much. That was the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
When it's just like, my elder told me about Kyurem.
Yeah.
He's the strongest dragon. Flashback forward, 20 minutes later, oh, he can transform into Reshiram and Zekrom. And then that's it. And I was like, why?
Yeah, so that's what this leads into. So because like when she does that, like I've heard of Kyurem, my elder told me about it. They do the flashback. She goes, "Who's the strongest dragon?" And the elder goes like, "Oh, you're not gonna like that answer." But like never really establishes why she won't like that answer. I'm like, just saying Kyurem, the big ice dragon, is that gonna break her spirit? Is that too much?
I think it's because in the anime, Iris's whole thing is she's going to become a dragon master.
Okay, so she's like, you're never gonna get this guy.
Yeah, and I think it's because like she leaves her area because she wants to prove that she can become a dragon.
Yeah.
She can't catch us like 10 non-dragons.
Got it.
And one of her things is that like she always does the whole, Ash, you're so stupid.
Oh,
you don't
God, I hate
know
that.
this.
I hate that.
And it's like she'll say it, and then Silent always has to like interfere. Well, Iris, and like
You're actually
she
fucking
says
dumb.
she says something that's like half-assed, and Silent's always like, well, actually, and then Silent's usually he's the Brock essentially.
Yeah.
So I think that scene was more because Iris is supposed to be very amateurish when it comes to dragon types, which is the problem that she has because she did the same thing Keldeo does, which is she could have stayed home and train and become a good dragon trainer. Nope, gonna go on an adventure with
And
my
catch a bunch of non-dragon
Dragon
types,
types.
like Excadrill and Emolga.
Yeah. So the thing is, I guess also is pre-fairy type, Kyurem is everything a dragon hates. He's ice and dragon.
Yeah.
So like going up against that, I would hate that if I was a dragon trainer.
You say something,
Then
Chris?
a beautiful Sylveon just goes, just
Yeah.
slaps him with ribbons.
You like my ribbons?
But yeah, no, because like Kyurem, like, I mean, like this. Actually, I don't even know why I say Kyurem. This goes back to why I don't like Iris as a trainer, because there was like one scene in particular I've ever watched, and from Black and White, I'm like, all right, I don't want to watch this. And it was when they were at like a restaurant, Ash is talking about his time with Charizard, and Iris is like, I can beat him. So then Charizard comes back from the Charcific Valley, he's like all like ready to like square up, and then there's like that part where like Dragonite and Charizard are flying at each other, they're both using Dragon Claw, and Iris is just like, oh, I'm gonna win because Charizard's a dragon, and Ash is like, well, no he's not, and then she's like, what? And then Charizard is just like, I'm not a fucking
And
dragon.
fire flying, dipshit.
By the way,
I'm
keep
gonna
in
get
mind
to
that
next gen.
Iris's Dragonite's most used move is it's Thunder Punch. Never once does she use Thunder Punch on fucking Charizard.
But I'll
Somebody
chalk
just
that up to
bodied
her dumbass not thinking it's a flying type. Just
Yeah.
being like, yeah, fire dragon or whatever she thought it was.
The fucker has wings.
But the thing is you haven't watched the anime
I've seen
for Black and White.
I've seen parts of most of
So
them.
adding a scene like that to the movie makes no sense.
Right.
And I hate when they do that because there's times where I have seen the anime. I don't see it when it's coming out. You should see it when it's out. And then
Binge it all together.
Yeah, binge it all together. But I noticed that a lot of the movies rely on like pre-existing knowledge of.
I think that's the issue with making most of the movies about Ash.
Yeah.
Because like
You have to.
yeah, I know, because that's how you drew kids in. You're like, I only know Ash and Pikachu. I haven't had the games, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. But like now, like you can just throw a Pokemon in a movie and be like,
Well,
that's Pokemon.
look how well the Elaine special did. I mean, the Elaine special broke fucking records.
Pokemon Origins fucking
It's
awesome.
amazing, yeah. It's a
I
great
wish that was
series.
I
So
thought that was
Elaine-
let's reboot the franchise.
The Elaine special had better reception than half the movies that they have done. And Ash was not part of it. They did use Charizard's marketing because they have to use Charizard.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Get a new
I'd
form.
rather see them use
But I'm okay with
overused
that.
Pokemon
Yeah.
than using Ash.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Ash just sets a precedent that like we have to show Ash being dumb, we have to have Ash use at least one Pokemon that's not Pikachu, and Pikachu has to take main stage at some point.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Because I mean, like this could also help kind of have them build their cinematic universe,
Yeah.
which it like Gen 7 was all about like the Ultra Beasts and how they affect space and time. Because I mean, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon did it perfectly, where they were like, hey, all these villains from the past, like Giovanni and Getsus, they're all coming back. But like, imagine if they did that with like the movies,
That'd be
where
great.
like you had different protagonists and different antagonists. 7th Gen time hits. And then it's all of the protagonists and antagonists coming back. That would have been hype.
You know the scene of Avengers whenever like the portals are opening? You just see Black Tulip going. fucking
Start beating the shit out of Pokemon on her own.
both allies and
Fucking
enemies.
spin kicks them.
So I guess I'll just chalk that up to Iris then just
Being
being
a dumbass.
ignorant.
Being awful.
Because like, I remember like in the game she's a champ, and
Yeah.
and then watching I'm like, how the fuck is she the champ?
She's in the manga. She's actually really fucking smart, but her character's very different than in the anime. And the anime is definitely geared because they needed somebody to play off Ash the way May and Dawn did. I just don't think Iris hit the mark.
Yeah, not at all.
But you know, sometimes you can't enjoy a sunny day without a rainy day. And you know who we get after Iris? Serena.
Yeah.
Best girl.
And Bonnie and Clyde. I guess the only other thing I think
Clement.
That's what I meant.
It's
yeah.
Clement.
Same thing. Same kids. I think the only other thing that bugged the hell out of me was Kyurem's ability to turn into black and white
Without
that
them?
bothered me.
without them or the splicer or
Because you
whatever.
need the DNA splicers,
Right.
and it's one or the other. But then they're like, hey, you remember that
Just flip around how you
So
want.
it's weird
Yeah.
because in the manga he doesn't have to do that. He can do it at will,
Okay.
as long as he's within a certain distance from the cave.
Oh, so distance is just spanning
But-
eternity.
But the thing, yeah. But the thing is that because of the game, we're conditioned to think you need the splicer.
Okay.
I consider the games to be a lot more mainstream than the manga,
Sure.
obviously.
100%.
So their creative chose to do that. It's really fucking weird because realistically, not that many people read the manga. So that's a horrible like way to. If you're going that route, that's a horrible way to do it. And if you're going the game route, then you need to show the splice, or even show like
You need a way to do it.
yeah,
You
show
can't
like
just-
the fucking skull of one of them, or something that he can resonate and touch and say, oh yeah, I'm Black Hero now, or White Hero.
Yeah.
Which I mean, like the whole thing, like you were saying, like within like a certain distance, like from the cave, that could have worked.
Yeah.
Because Kyurem just walks into like a dark abyss. We don't know where the fuck he goes. We don't know like what it is. That could have worked if the movie before didn't involve Zekrom and Reshiram being somewhere entirely fucking different.
So I guess now I'm thinking like if
Bro, they're just chilling in the back. Like, hey, can I-
if we
Are you
like,
using me now? Or you're good?
rewrote this without Ash and them, right? And this took place simultaneously during Black and White.
Oh, that would have been
Where
fucking
Kyurem all of a
smart.
sudden's like, I need to splice into Zekrom. Zekrom disappears from Black and White movie and is just smacked into trying to kill Keldeo. It's like, all right, cool, I'm done with you. And Zekrom's like, okay, where were we? We were doing something here. Kyurem had to borrow me for
Right
like
before
20
they're about
minutes.
to just
Yeah.
just
That would have been good.
Yeah. As they're pushing the sword back from space after saving
That's
Ash.
the sword of justice.
Keldeo, get it! Oh, there was a horse kid looking for this thing, yeah.
He just grabs it by the handle and swings it at Kyurem. Whoa, kid, calm down. That's too much weight.
You want a sword of justice? All right, Kyurem.
Kills all the musketeers and everything.
Cuts the world in half.
I mean, it's most of the characters he's voiced have that kind of power.
Yeah.
I feel like realistically we've kind of just talked about the whole, there's not much substance to it. You kind of just
Right, like
it's there.
Like I mean, like with a runtime of like an hour and 11 minutes. Like when I looked, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a short day.
Yeah.
Like it was, like I was like, how much is there to talk? Like how much action is in this? Like for the time they were given, they did the most with what they could. I'm sure sacrifices had to be made, but
Yeah, if they would have done like almost an hour and 40, like some of the previous movies, probably could have been one of the best.
Yeah, I think it could have been. It had,
The
the
potential,
potential
to be really
to
good.
do it, and then
Yeah.
just
but with that runtime and the lack of plot and clarity, I think.
Who's picking first for this, I am?
Who's picking for the poll? Me.
You? Okay.
Yeah, because you picked first for
That's right.
Black and White.
I was kind of fucked in there.
Yeah, we went back and
kinda
watched.
fucked
You're
you.
like, oh fucking this guy, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, it's typical credits roll. Gang in a blimp. Keldeo's. Oh yeah, they do the like. I never understand when people do that. Like, all right, we're gonna leave. Bye, and then the person on the ground just runs after them for another 5 minutes until like they officially like they reach the cliff of like, bye now. I'll see you.
So this movie had me thinking like I was like hallucinating half of it because like I was like, all right, because like, they did like a lot of like jump cuts where it's like you see like Iris in the air with like the blimp and it gets frozen over and Kyurem flies away, and then all of a sudden she's with Ash. And I'm like, what the fuck did I miss? Like, when did she get from up here to down here? Where is that blimp?
I
have
took notes.
pictures.
I took notes when he froze the blimp. I'm like, I put something like, I'm
She's
gonna crash.
dead.
I'm gonna crash your blimp, bitch, or something to the effect.
And then later she's flying a frozen blimp. She's
But
like,
yeah.
I'll come pick you up, Silent.
After the cry going on,
I don't think
Kyurem
the-
stopped silence. Then she comes in with the blimp, says silence.
Yeah.
Then they go and meet Ash.
I don't think
Okay.
the animators understand how blimps work.
Yeah.
And like in Pokemon, because like every time there's a blimp, it's just like, that's not how blimps work.
Freeze it and it fall and then go back up. It's fine.
And when, right before it hit the floor, just jump so you don't die.
I'll never forget the one of the scenes where he's selling and he just. And then just cut to something else, and then it's like, why?
It's okay. There'll be another movie with Kyurem and Ash will be like, who's that? Guys, what the fuck is this?
Oh, that's the next movie. That's the next movie.
Well, I think
I'm
I should
gonna have a fucking meltdown on that movie, I swear.
I should take this time to make sure that I read in Dante's information. I didn't even mention at the beginning, Dante's not here. He had a prior engagement leading into this week. Exactly. Prior engagement, he's still getting that divorce paperwork finalized.
Jesus. Divorce went well, Danny, you already said.
I know, but you know, paper trails, and you got to finish some things up, you know. But he wrote in his notes for the movie, and I'll read his 3-paragraph summary.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh.
Interesting movie comparatively to some of the others we've watched. I don't think it's astounding, but it doesn't necessarily offend either. There's a couple of baffling things in this movie, like how they break into a museum that apparently isn't locked. It has a functional blimp that Iris just knows how to fly, and Team Rocket is shown in the movie but doesn't do
She knows how to
anything.
find blimps because in her city,
That's just called
that's how they
Kansas.
travel. in her city, that's how they travel, is through blimps.
Is that how they travel?
Yeah, because they have a big ass fucking city, and they use their dragon ties to use fire, and then they.
And
Why just fly
and
the
that's like an
dragon?
actual thing, like no bullshit, like
I
that's
guess
actually
actors
how.
can't fly.
Yeah, like
Oh, shit,
her
okay.
city's pretty big.
High jump.
Her city's pretty big, and they travel through blimps. So that's
Oh,
cool.
Oh shit.
Didn't know that. I was really curious how she learned how to fly the blimp, but I was just like, whatever, I get it. They needed it
I
too.
don't recall, and I'm not saying you're wrong there anyway.
Yeah.
I don't have any memory of Dragon City being blimp oriented.
I know they also have
In the anime, or in the games too, or
no, just in the anime.
Got
in
it.
the game, the city's
That's
like four. Like,
That's what I was gonna say.
It has like
It's-
4 houses in it.
I have no recollection of this blimp ordeal.
Oh.
Because she does steal Team Rocket's blimp. They do steal Team Rocket's blimp a couple times throughout the
Got
anime,
it.
and she's like the one.
The Team Rocket thing, I personally think it's better that they have no say in the story. I like just the cameo of like, they're still following the kids, but they're waiting for them to get to the destination.
Honestly, at this it's a tired gimmick. They just need to let Jesse, James, and Meowth get rest. They need to go back to Kanto.
Well, there's the region where they were spies.
Yeah, so Dante's thing was, why even show him at this point? I know we are critical of Team Rocket lately, but I genuinely
Just a cameo.
just enjoy their comedy. I guess you're just an Easter egg for this movie.
Yeah.
I agree with him at that point.
Yeah.
Like I like their comedy. I like their moments, and even though like we talk shit when they show up for 5 minutes of a movie for funny bits, I like that.
Right.
They don't have to be the antagonist. They don't have to be.
They never.
Nice comedic relief.
But yeah, I guess because you mentioned this morning, we hopped in Discord, and I'm like, yeah, Team Rocket's not in there. Like, yeah, they're at the beginning. I'm like, are they?
Yeah, on the train. When the train's going, you see James on a cell phone in like a trench coat, and then you see Jesse doing the same thing.
Yeah,
They're
like
like
that-
communicating where they're at.
At that point, for me, I feel like the bit we see in the credits of them doing their thing, I'm like, I'd rather just had that than have them pop up at the beginning to literally not come again. I think it's just a preference for me, because I'm like, I probably would have been, if I noticed, I probably
Yeah.
would have been like, when's Team Rocket coming?
So the thing,
We saw him.
James is harder to notice than Jesse, because James, it's like top down. You see short blue spiky hair and the trench coat, and then you see him turn around and he's talking on like a phone. Jesse, you see the big fucking crescent swoop red hair,
Yeah.
same outfit, and I was like, oh, that
That's
was
not
Jesse
her.
and James.
That's Jezebel. So this is one of those movies that I think for me suffers from not enough time to establish characters, as well as not knowing how to handle its stakes. Not every story needs to have world-ending stakes like Darkrai Arceus, but then at that point, I feel you really need to have your audience be invested in the personal struggle of the character. Keldeo, and then in parentheses, the hedgehog, just ends up having a few flashbacks as well as time in the beginning to establish its bond with its friends. And when they get frozen, I just don't feel the impact. Then later, he just kind of gets over his fear of fighting because Ash does the thing Ash always does. At least with the Lucario movie, they both had a journey, and it made sense to why Lucario was
Still
willing to
Lucario.
step up. Ash's company barely spent what felt like an evening with Keldeo. But like I said, it's not all bad. I think the movie is beautifully animated, especially when it comes to battles involving creatures that aren't humanoid. Voice acting is solid, I feel. It made me even like the Swords of Justice a bit more. In conclusion, not the worst I've watched, but I can't really put it that high up either. And then he gives me his placement.
Okay.
So he actually reminded me of something I was going to ask, or just having. Danny, how do you feel about Kyurem and his grunting and?
Worst voiced, yeah.
He shoots a fucking beam and he goes.
He sounds like you woke up your grandpa from like a really good nap.
How did
And
I
he's
know
just
that?
like, Grandpa, it's time for dinner. He's like,
Well, I mean, only because I know you, and he's like, "Oh, you are." Like it's like he just got woke up from a nap to be, "Hey, yo, square up."
I put every attack for Kyurem. Every attack for Kyurem sounds like he's puking.
it's pretty bad. It's pretty fucking bad.
Because there is moments where like I would think I would like start to get invested here, and I'm like, I can't with this. This is taking me out.
Some of like the shit he does is really cool too. Like when they're driving towards the tunnel and he fucking hops and just like slides.
Yeah.
That was dope as fuck. Yeah. I was like, damn. And then he's like, and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Grandpa Zangy.
Now I want a super cut of just Kyurem cool shit and then just vomiting. Or like,
and because you didn't you did the opposite of something I thought you were gonna do. I kind of want to see an edit where they just take the My Hero Academia soundtrack and put it over the music of this movie because same vibe though.
Same energy.
Like it's training. That's all it is. It's just a training montage.
Actually, that reminds me. I have a video coming out tomorrow for us, like 2 weeks ago for people watching, that I do on My Hero edit at the beginning, and I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of this. Nothing crazy, but I enjoyed it. Anyway, I guess it's how's timestamp looking, John? How we doing?
We're at exactly 50 minutes.
Okay,
Oh,
not too
shit.
bad, not too bad. Okay. Then I guess it sounds like a good time to rank this motherfucking movie. And of course, as I must do, I must go through the list as it currently stands.
Same
Starting-
oith.
My favorite part.
there we go. Thank you. Appreciate
You're
that. Same oith.
Bitchmaker.
Fucking bitchmaker.
We already did Hoopa.
Starting from the bottom, we've got at number 15, Pokemon Black and White. Pokemon Mewtwo returns at 14. 13 is Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea. Number 12, Pokemon 2000. Number 11, Pokemon Forever. Number 10, Pokemon Jirachi Wishmaker. Number 9, Pokemon Lucario and the Mystery Mew. Number 8, Pokemon 3, Spell the Unknown. Number 7, Pokemon Heroes. Number 6, Zoroark, Master of Illusions. Number 5, Arceus and the Jewel of Life. Number 4, Pokemon the First Movie. Number 3, Giratina and the Sky Warrior. Number 2, Pokemon Destiny Deoxys. And number 1, Pokemon Rise of Darkrai. Does anybody have a strong opinion on where Keldeo falls?
I am fine with it being in the range of 6 to 9. Somewhere in that middle ground.
For me personally, I would put it below, because I mean on my list I'm very critical of it. But overall, I would put it either above or below Jirachi.
Okay, that's a lot closer to where I was thinking.
Can you name me the bottom 5?
Yeah, bottom 5, it's...
Oh, well, I got it right
here.
here.
Yeah, so just for audience then, it's Black, White, Mewtwo Returns, Jirachi, restart. Black, White, Mewtwo Returns, Temple of the Sea, 2000, Forever.
For me, I'll play between Witchmaker and Forever.
Okay.
Because originally I was going to say this was the worst one for me, but then I remember Pokemon Ranger, Temple of the Sea, and that's 13. And this is way better than that for me.
But that movie had Kyogre in it.
For like 14 seconds.
No!
He shows up, he goes, oh!
He shot the
Yeah.
Phantom with Hyper Beam.
So for me, I'll be between Jirachi and Forever.
There's two kinds of people in this world.
Also, a quick update on the blimp thing. It was a flashback of her going to Blackthorn City. Blackthorn City has blimps, not Dragon Village.
okay.
Yeah, I just looked it up because I was like, wait, that's common knowledge. And it was just a flashback of her going against Claire. Yeah. And then they show her on a blimp in
Gotcha.
Blackthorn City. So it might be Blackthorn City has the blimps and not Dragon Village.
Then, as I sit and look at it, I know I don't love this movie. And I think the thing is, if I go and look at it, I can find things about, like numbers, we'll say 6 through 10 that Kanai said. Like, I can find things about those movies that I enjoy significantly more than Keldeo. But I could do the same thing for Forever in 2000 as well, which like sucks.
Democracy, my dude.
I was saying, I'm excited to redo my own personal list. Going, fuck, 2000. What are you doing down there?
Belongs there.
But you shut your ass up.
That's the issue with the early ones, is they
Yeah.
always end up way too high. Or
That's what I noticed. I learned that because we ranked them so high that like some of them unnecessarily, like Spell the Unknown, it's way higher than some of the later movies for me. And like looking at it, like looking at Spell the Unknown, I'm like right now, if I'm looking at Spell the Unknown, Lucario should be higher. Witchmaker should be higher.
I disagree with Jirachi being higher.
Yeah.
Spell the Unknown should be lower.
Whoa! Hot take. I like Spell the Unknown. I don't hate it
I'm
at
just
8
thinking
just
at
because of
that
some of the
point.
other movies.
Black and White should be higher.
Shut the fuck up.
I
Victini, best part.
I don't disagree that it should be higher, but that's because I like viscerally hated Mewtwo Returns. I had an anger reaction to that movie.
I actually can't believe that Black and White was so bad that actually of
Yeah.
how bad. Like I remember being bad, and I told you guys that it was bad last time I seen it, but I didn't know it was so
didn't know it was
bad,
bad.
that it was going to replace. Like this whole time, I'm like, there's nothing that's gonna beat Mewtwo Returns, and then like seeing this, I'm like, there's no way somebody can make an argument that this goes beyond. Like, yeah,
I liked it more than Mewtwo Returns.
you like it more?
The Mewtwo Returns, yes.
Yeah. Do you?
I would rather watch that movie than Mewtwo Returns,
Oh,
yes.
I couldn't.
Because the version of Mewtwo Returns we watched was sped up.
But
And
that's not the movie, though. You can't-
I get that, but that means that it is longer than what we thought, which is less than an hour, which means that it's like anywhere between an hour and like an hour and 20 minutes. And there are parts that redeemed Black and White for me. There are not parts that redeem Mewtwo Returns at
I'm
all.
just saying,
The Black
U2
No.
Returns was a TV special.
Yeah.
Technically, we're missing one, but we're too far along for that
The
one.
Pokemon Christmas special with the Snorlax snowman. Which one are you referring to?
There is a different one I saw on like Wikipedia that was like,
A special?
yeah.
Oh no, we missed like 5 specials.
Oh.
It's just that I haven't said anything because I didn't know if you guys want to do. Because I thought the way I remember Mewtwo Returns, that's a whole ass new movie.
Yeah,
It's safe.
I
And
remember
then
like we had I had the VHS of that as
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah, that's why I remember it being a whole ass movie, and then it turns out, then it turns out it was just a
Those
shitty
were
special.
Right.
Yeah,
I
we
was, like,
missed a
tossing
couple
it and
specials,
catching it
but
and
none
then
of them
just
were
fucking-
like big specials. I was gonna ask you, are you doing the Elaine special or
Which one?
Elaine?
I hadn't planned to know.
Okay, that's a 5-parter, so.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's,
But personally looking at the list,
wait, where's Dante?
I have his here. Rather than discuss, I was going to do the two-hand thing for him.
Okay.
I like the shock value, like, what?
Yeah.
What? That way I can keep my hand up the entire time.
oh no.
But I guess it's just time to vote.
Sure.
So I'll put hands up. I might have swing off it.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's hot, guys. So you guys
It's-
can't
it's
tell.
very hot.
It's hot as balls in here. We pretty
I'm
much
ready
come
for
to
it to be a
conclude.
little cooler.
This church is trying to kick us out so we don't film here anymore.
Yeah, I wish Kyurem was close.
Yeah, right? That'd be great. Turn to fucking black hero. Give me some electricity and ice. Starting from the bottom, does anyone think it goes below black and white? So above black and white then. Above Mewtwo Returns. I'm phrasing this weird.
Hold on.
Oh, I thought you
No,
could.
I just want
I was like, God damn, Chris.
I'm like, John has to. We're sharing a list.
Does it go below Pokemon Ranger? Below 2000? Below Forever? Below Jirachi?
You mean above Jirachi?
Above Forever. So at the new number 11. Above Forever, below Jirachi. So like my hand is down.
Right, that is Dante's.
Okay. Above Jirachi. That was Dante's hand. So that's.
It would be
Or,
the...
sorry, correct. Above Lucario, that's Dante's hand.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dante thinks it goes above Jirachi. This is hard. I'm trying to read and control two hands.
Rereading through the list, I don't think it's better than Lucario. I have issues with Lucario, but I like more of the Pokemon that are in Lucario, and I like more of the world building in Lucario.
To me, Lucario's way higher than it should be.
I really don't like Lucario.
Yeah, I didn't like.
So
Lucario.
you confused the hell out of me when you guys called me that night. First of all, I was like eyes closed, about to go to sleep, and then I just heard my ringtone go off, and then I heard you go. So how did you feel about Lucario? I was like, it was okay, and you were like, it's the same fucking movie, but you guys had just talked about 2 movies. So I was like, what movie? And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh, it is just like black and white. And then
So-
Danny was like, no, he was talking about Zoroark,
Sorry.
and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's the same movie as Black and
It's the
White
same-
to me.
It's the plot that's very.
The
similar.
plot?
Yeah, the plot.
For Lucario or for Zoroark?
No, the plot. Give me a second. What movie?
Before we get too deep into that,
Okay,
Yeah,
because
sorry.
because I lost track doing 4 things at once.
Yes.
So it fell between Jirachi and
And
Forever
Lucario. Wishmaker and Lucario.
Yeah, so that
So
that
that
was
would be
just
the-
2 of us then.
so
When
that
did
would
you
be-
guys put your hand down?
Me
I put-
and Chris put it down between Jirachi and Lucario.
Yeah.
Which
Okay,
was
so
also the
also
same for
Dante, so
Dante.
that's where
yeah.
it falls.
I put mine's right under Jirachi, so it'll be like.
Correct.
11.
That's where I put mine.
So it would
So
be
that
the
would
new
be our
number
new
10.
number 10.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yep. So this is Pokemon.
It's right outside the range I thought it would be, but that's
Yeah.
fine. I'm fine with that.
I can't remember what. So what happened? The problem I had with the Lucario movie, and this will go to the Sora movie, was I never got to finish because Dante was getting really fucking heated during that argument. And
Okay.
he wasn't listening to what I was saying. He was so stuck on trying to prove me wrong that I'm like, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying the movie fucking
Is that the
sucks.
Mjolnir thing?
Yeah, and I was explaining it to him.
And that was the
Thomas.
Zorro movie?
The what?
The Zorro?
Jonathan.
Or-
That was the original. I think that was Lucario.
Okay.
Because I'm very because Lucario was like when I watched it, it's like it's an amazing movie. It's using amazing Pokemon. They fucking botched the ending a
Yeah.
little bit for me. And then was it Sard that I did that for?
Did what for?
The he compared with.
Did I compare?
Yeah.
Because I'll go through my notes. But
We had a discussion about how Zoroark and Lucario were the not pseudo legendary, but the important
That's right,
bipedal
that's right.
creature.
Yeah.
That had a mission to complete, and Ash and them were along for the ride.
Yeah. So they borrow each other's plot,
Yeah.
or one borrowed the other one's plot a little bit, and I was like, okay. I remember seeing the Zoroark one, going like, I mean, it's not horrible. I like it more in Lucario, and then that day, me and Dante again were disagreeing on it. And then you got on the phone and you're like, "Oh, I liked it because you said something."
You were like, "How'd you feel?"
It's the same thing as Lucario.
You were like, "How do you feel about Lucario?" I said I liked Lucario more than Zoroark, but I liked it less than Black and White. And you were like, "It's the same fucking movie," and I thought you were talking about Black and White. Because Black and White, in my mind, the minute I heard that, I was like, oh, fuck, they're both Pokemon from the past who belong to an important figure, who died, got sent to the future, helped with Ash, then they kept seeing flashbacks of the past to help them with the current issue, and then they had to fight an Ultimate Force, being the tree or the Dragon Force, and I was like, fuck, they are the same movie.
I never thought about
that. So I literally sat there and broke it down in my head, and I was like, Black and White and Lucario are the same movie. But in my opinion, Black and White had a cooler legendary entrance, and it had a cooler cast of Pokemon. Because it had Golurk, like you just show up to make fax noises and be a Beyblade. But like they were cool. But I love Golurk. Zekrom's entrance, I think, because I watched White, Zekrom's entrance to be the good guy was super cool. But like I said, when you said they're the same movie thing, that's what stuck in my head.
That's funny because I wasn't talking about that, but now that you bring up all that stuff, I'm like, oh wow, that is.
Yeah. Absolutely. But since we talked about Black and White Lucario weeks in the past, let's review the list of where everything belongs. This list now looks like number 16, Pokemon Black and White. Number 15, Pokemon Mewtwo Returns. Number 14, Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea. Number 13, Pokemon 2000. Number 12, Pokemon Forever. Number 11, Pokemon Jirachi Wishmaker. Number 10, Pokemon Kyurem and the Sword
there you go.
of Justice.
There you go. That's another thing. And I'll talk about it when you're done with your rating.
Pokemon Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Number 9. Number 8, Pokemon 3, Spell of the Unknown. Number 7, Pokemon Heroes. Number 6, Zoroark, Master of Illusion. Number 5, Arceus and the Jewel of Life. Number 4, Pokemon the First Movie. Number 3, Giratina and the Sky Warrior. Number 2, Pokemon Destiny Deoxys. And number 1, Pokemon Rise of Darkrai.
Movie was so cool.
I'm just happy that the top 5 are the 3 Gen 4 movies.
Yes.
I knew one of them was going to end up being number 1. I didn't think you guys would enjoy the other 2 as much as I did, because I also overhyped Gen 4.
They're the good ones.
But they're so good. Like
they're the trilogy.
Yeah, like they're so good that watching. I watched them again with Britt. She's never seen them, and I was like, I'm like sitting there like, get 4.
So I think there's very few movies left that have a chance of breaking that top 5.
I'm really hoping that The Secret of the Jungle is like something mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like,
so I haven't watched it on purpose. So I was gonna watch it because I found a copy of it, right, in Japanese.
You might have to, because at this point they still haven't shown a U.S. release.
The reason I have it, it's supposed to be in July.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
cool.
I haven't watched it because I was like, I don't know if that's something we want to watch together or not.
oh, that'd be cool.
I don't mind.
So I haven't watched it. Usually I watch them
Might
right
sway
away.
our vote a little bit.
But we started doing this around the time that I found like the
initial one.
the copy one. So I was like, okay, I'll just wait and watch. And worst case scenario, I'll see it like a week before. If not, then we'll all watch it together.
I think the biggest thing this movie falters from is the fucking name. Because if it was Kyurem and the Sword of Justice versus Kyurem versus the Sword of Justice, that sets up big badass world-ending battle versus Kyurem and the Sword of Justice, or Kyurem and the Swords of Justice. That sets up a cast of characters that will be in the movie.
Yeah, I think swords would have worked way better.
Yeah.
And if they had more time to have the other guys do more, then you could have been like, I would have been, okay, there might be, I'm excited to see why it's called the Swords of Justice.
But I completely forgot about that until you reread the name.
Yeah. To be fair, I even typed around there. I put Kyurem and. The movie is Kyurem versus.
It is versus,
Sword
but
of Justice.
and is much better.
Danny
than
boy,
the name.
have you made your choice, or are you stalling because there's not that many Pokemon?
All right. Well, I guess it's time for the poll challenge, everybody.
Pikachu.
Each week, I have to actually
Not excited.
verify because it's been a hot minute since I posted any of the results. But every week we go in and we pick a Pokemon that appeared in this movie and we put them against each other in a poll challenge to compete on your votes over on the CGDannyB Discord. That's right, you get to decide based on a reactionary system which Pokemon you think wins. Former results, because I haven't announced. Yeah, I'm pretty sure what happened was for Zoroark, it went to Dante, who had Zoroark.
That sounds right.
And then for Black and White,
So Black and White was rigged.
fuck.
What?
People changed their vote again. I took a screenshot, which is somewhere in my phone.
So I took 2 screenshots of
Yes.
before it was rigged and after it was rigged. And I'll talk about that in a second.
Because I will take a picture the moment I upload the next podcast. I'm like, that is the cutoff. So I have an image of where the results ended. But people changed since then, so I do not currently have the results of the last one.
I have a screenshot of me winning originally. Or not winning, I was in the lead. There's no winning until you
Sure.
post these. And I was like, whoa, right? And then there was some tempering where people tagged everyone. They're like, dude, vote for this fucking Pokemon. I didn't know we could fucking do that. So
There's nothing saying you can't.
After that, everybody's fucking votes drastically went down. And this one Pokemon got it just because Kanai here decided to let the whole server know to vote for somebody.
Wasn't mine.
So I know, but like I was in the lead, and then Danny was right next to me. Danny was 1 vote behind me, right?
Not this last week, because ain't nobody gave a fuck about my boy Reunique.
This was 2 weeks ago when I took the screenshot.
Okay.
So it was me and Danny, and I was like 5 or 4. I was at 6, and Danny was at 5, and I was like, holy shit, that's the most that I ever gotten a vote, right? And then I took a screenshot, and I was like, I'm gonna brag about it tomorrow. You made that post, right? And I check a couple days after you made that post, and I go look, and I'm like, what the fuck? Our numbers drastically dropped.
I might have to confirm with the screenshot. Based on the image I have here, you won. Tepig won with 6 votes. Is what I have in front of me on Discord.
No, that changed drastically.
I think what I need to start doing is screenshot and share it in that call right underneath. I think that's what I'll start doing.
Just start putting a time limit on it, like a 3-day time limit, and just do it at everyone for 3 days. Just I mean, if they're in your server, they know what they're in for.
Yeah, I don't necessarily mind about doing that as much as it's just consistently staying on top of it. Either way, poll challenge for this week, because we announced the poll challenge. Slim pickings for this one. I'm gonna take a choice here. During our training moment when Cobalion was like, hey, don't tell Keldeo about anything. Keldeo was walking through the river, and you know what was in that river?
Basculin.
Timpole.
Oh yeah.
Can I try and guess your option?
Me?
Yeah, can I try and guess yours?
Absolutely he can. After
Silence.
Dante gets his, because Dante said for Keldeo, and I'm assuming these are in priority order, he chooses, can you guess what I typed?
Keldeo.
Crustle.
Okay. Rock Wrecker.
There we go.
Cool move.
Did you pick Silence, like Stumpus?
No.
Okay. The way you brought the...
I did love that. But there's one thing I loved more. And I didn't talk about it.
Keldeo.
So it's my turn?
Yeah.
Fucking best sled Boldor. When Ash is just like, he's like, I have the perfect Pokemon for this. Boldor, go! And he just rides it on the fucking ice.
I thought that was in Genesect. That's why I was like, I'm gonna say that for Genesect.
I love that shit. Best sled Boldor, dog.
Oh.
And he's just like,
Biggums is rolling over in his grave right
Yeah,
now.
because I was like, I'm picking Boldor for the next one, because I thought it was in Genesect. Oh.
You snooze, you lose, Danny boy.
I didn't snooze, I just... I hit the alarm too late. Shit.
best sled.
So,
That was my pick.
so my choice is in that first sequence was a world of Pokemon. We see one flexing man of a Pokemon, Machamp.
Fun, I knew you were to pick Machamp.
Oh,
There's no Arcanine.
it's why I had to go back and I'm like, okay, I thought he was in there. Okay.
So I played the intro, because I watched it twice. The second time I replayed the intro, I'm like,
No Arcanine.
no Arcanine. Okay,
Yeah.
Nice not getting Arcanine.
Yeah, both intros, no Arcanine.
Damn it, motherfucker. I'm scrolling through and I just see the part where Keldeo lands on Boldor's face.
Yep.
Damn it! That's right.
Danny's like, I have to double check.
I did, because I'm like, I could have sworn that was in Genesect.
You know what? I'll give you the pass, Danny. You can pick it for the next movie.
Okay, sounds
I
good.
think is he not still in it?
I think he might be, but I don't
So-
remember.
He's not the sled.
I have more choices in Genesect. There's a
true.
lot more Pokemon.
Can two people pick Genesect?
Because
I knew that question was gonna
Yeah.
come up.
Shiny and non-shiny.
What about Russian?
Can you pick pissed off Genesect, or can you
I-
go? Let's just go through the.
That opens the door for all five.
We'll talk about that one.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Anyway,
I'm
so
gonna
your
go with
pick for Keldeo.
Kyurem.
Kyurem?
Yeah, there's not many Pokemon.
You pick
like
Keldeo? Oh no, Machamp.
Machamp.
Cool. Connor, how about, okay.
He picks and chooses.
Dumb sparse.
He wasn't in there. It's probably good.
All right, so for this week's poll challenge, the results. The choices are Danny picked Timbul, Dante picked Crustle, Kanai picked Boldor, Chris with Machamp, and John with Kyurem.
There's not that many choices, guys.
There's
We're literally
not.
scribing.
I honestly had 3 choices ready.
Did you?
And nobody picked any of them.
All my choices were.
It was Boldor, Stunfisk was my second one, and then after Stunfisk, it was the Basculin that Terakion was like, you gotta, whatever, and he fucking flipped it, and
Yeah.
Basculin was like, yo, bitch.
My choices
love
were
that.
gonna be Kyurem, Cobalion, or Pikachu, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is a shitty movie to take Pikachu. But
Yeah.
realistically,
He
I
has
don't
done
think
enough.
there's any movie where
He
we're
didn't
gonna
do
actually
terrible.
pick- I don't think there's any movie where we're gonna go like, I have to have Pikachu.
This is
I
the
have
first
to see
time.
who picks first on the movie I'm thinking about, and I think there's a.
This is like the
There's
first
one movie
time.
I
Someone
feel
pick
like
Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Yeah,
whoever
that's
gets
the
that
one- that's
draw
what
is
we'll
getting
see.
grabbed.
But you're getting Detective Pikachu, not Pikachu.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. You get
Which I have a fun stipulation with that one.
It's his own Pokemon.
We can talk about that.
You get first pick.
Hoopa.
Yeah, on Hoopa.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hoopa!
That's it. Connor.
Genesect will be Dante.
Now, will that affect if Connor does another?
So if Connor had showed up today, it
He
would have
would
affected.
have. He would have been
Because
first.
Connor
I
would
would've
have killed
killed
him
him.
first.
So can you make it where he just picks last whenever
Why?
he
You
shows
still
up
got
going
second.
forward, so that way
I would
everybody
have
gets to
triangle
pick
choked him. He would have been in that
in the
club.
pattern?
Yes. So technically that would have been what would have happened. Connor would have, because he picked last at one point and we went through the cycle. But he didn't show for all of them, so it's a weird so he technically would have picked first for this. This would have been his first pick.
Yeah.
But because he's not here, it went to me. Dante will get first for Genesect, and then Kanai gets Diancie, Chris gets Hoopa, and then
Volcanion.
Volcanion, yes. And then
Oh, okay. I'm okay. I
forget
fuck with that. I'm
Okay,
okay
that's
with
good.
Volcanion.
Volcanion's a good movie if I remember right.
Yeah.
Might be top 5, man.
Have you watched those yet? Have you watched Volcanion or anything?
I've seen the intro for Hoopa. What's the next one?
After
Cocoon
Hoopa
of
is-
Destruction.
Cocoon
I've
is-
seen
yeah.
most of that one.
Okay.
I have not seen Volcanion. That's where I
I
stopped.
think you're gonna get a boner in Volcanion.
Me?
Volcanion is,
There's a couple things there that I think you'll like.
I remember like Volcanion a lot.
Yeah.
But hey, we digressed enough here just to make sure we hit that time streak. Anyway,
Pretty good though.
yeah, I think I did it pretty well today.
Like an hour shorter than what we typically run.
So guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Pokemon Gotta Watch 'Em All. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. Helps spread the video so more people get to see it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the new format. I know this was a lot more, let's just talk about the movie rather than just go through the plot. And I think
like that way more.
It gives
Yeah.
everyone a chance to speak and not be like, let me slide in when he gets to the part, and then if I miss something, like, oh, I didn't mention earlier because, but yeah, I think it gives it just be like, well, this happened and that happened.
It lets us
it.
get everything we need to get out instead
Yeah.
of waiting and then being like, now's my time to talk for 30
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching again. If it's your first time checking out the content and you want to stick around and see some more, do yourself a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you get notifications every time a new video comes out.
Hit punch it.
And I'll see you guys next time.